Alrighty, hey, everyone, happy Friday. Today was obviously another good day for the miners here. So this week has been freaking fantastic. I hope you guys are loving the action, the price on the miners. A lot of these guys are getting repriced right now, which is great to see. We've been waiting for this really for a long time, and it's kind of nice that it's finally happening here. So we kind of thought it would happen towards the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter as well, that we're going into it. But we obviously have seen a lot of deals happening here with HPC deals. Right, OpenAI with Oracle. We've seen obviously other deals as well being made, and that is all raising the boats on the other side of things, which have the miners with a lot of megawatts, which is great. So we'll take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin today. Bitcoin was up as well, which was nice to see. It actually had a Friday where it was in the green instead of having the last 4 or 5 Fridays that we were in the red. So that's a nice change in the events there. Miners, like I said, were up nicely today. What else do we have here? Bitdeer reported their August production updates. We'll take a look at that. And then we get into Q&A, so it should be pretty short and sweet here. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research, full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. And let's see. Let's get into it here. So here's what's going on with Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin, like I said, had a pretty good day today. We are above the 50 SMA line, which is this line right here. We have been in the red on it. We are now above it right now and closed nicely above it for the second time in a row. So that's good there. Bitcoin was up today just a little bit, 0.49%. It was up almost 1% at one point, or maybe even a little bit above that. Miners had a fantastic day as well. Ethereum had a good day today also. It was not a lot better than Bitcoin was. It was up 5.7% there. It's down in the new day for Saturday. Here we'll see how it does over the weekend. I'm guessing not much is going to happen there. And yeah, we'll see how things play out for Bitcoin and Ethereum over the weekend here. We'll get back in the swing of things on Sunday. We'll cover how the miners did and everything else for the past week against Bitcoin here. But we'll take a look at that as well here today. Bitfarms had another nice day today. It was up approximately 9.31%. On the weekly, though, this thing did the best here out of all the miners here this week. It is up huge. It is up 72.87% in 5 days. That is, I don't know if it's a record. I doubt that it's a record, but I think it's an awesome feat there for Bitfarms. So they're still pumping in the after hours. We'll take a look at that in a second here. Bitdeer was also up today, 14.46%. On the week, it's been up 30.7% here. Great week. Kango was actually down on the week. It's flat today, but it was down to this week 9.13%. That was the only one that I think was in the red here for the week. Cypher was up another 8.83%. It had a fantastic week also. It was up 44.28%. Cleanspark was up 1.47%. It had a little bit more of a muted week. It was only up 12% there. On that one, CORZ was up 1.19%. And is up for the week 16.45%. That is mainly because of CoreWeave stock kind of bumping back up a little bit. Hive was up today, 12.72. Had a great day today. It is up for the week right now, 43.23%. Hut 8 was up today, 1.5%. For the week, it is up 27.82%. IREN was up 3.38% today. For the week, it is up 29.87%. Mara was up 3.82%, up a little bit this week. It was only up 7.37%. Riot was up 1.53% for the week. It was up 19.56%, and Wolf was up 1.13%, and for the week it was up 17.85%, while Bitcoin here for the week was only up 4.38%. So the miners are kicking butt and definitely outperforming Bitcoin here, which is, in a bull run, is what we would expect to happen. And we are definitely seeing it right now. I'm hoping this lasts for a little while longer, for at least a couple more months, and have these miners be, appreciated and go up in value much higher from where we are right now. But things are looking good for us right now. Obviously, most of you guys are probably doing very well with the stocks, depending on when you got into them. If you got into them at still higher prices, then you're still probably, pounding your head against the wall a little bit on some of these guys here. But I think eventually they will get back up to those values there. As far as other things here, the Bitcoin hodlers or strategy companies, treasury companies. MicroStrategy was up just a little bit, 1.66%. Galaxy was up 3.08%. Black was down 1.83%. Coin was down 0.28%. Metaplanet was down 8.37%. That thing continues to slide here. That one is pretty low right now as it is. Exodus was down 1.73%. Nexon was up 0.24%. Semler was up 2.28%. Phoenix was up 7.23%. GameStop was up just a little bit, 0.32% there on the day, and the small miners were kind of mixed. Most of them were in the red here. Any, Argo, and DG Power. DMG, Mawson, and Canon were up just a little bit, less than 1%. The Bitcoin miner ETFs were also in the green. Those things have been rocketing like crazy here. BitKey was up 1.49% on the day. It was up 14.33% on the week. BKCH was up 3.68% today, and for the week was up 21.89%. DAP was up 2.43% for the day, and on the week it was up 16.7%. And WGMI had a fantastic week. It was up 4.63% today, and for the week it was up 26.72%. When it comes to the Ethereum treasury companies there, BMNR had a nice bounce today. It was up 15.28%. Bit Digital was up just a little bit, 0.85. BTCS was up 7.88. Game was down 2.88, and SBET was up 8.19% there. Oracle was down a little bit today, 5.09%. After having a great week there overall. People are just taking profits in that one. Nibius was up a little bit, 1.73%. That thing is up for the week. 38%, what was Oracle up for the week here? 59%. That one did great as well. So things are looking good in the space with HPC and AI going forward. All right, after hours trading here, what do we see right now? Bitdeer is up just a little bit, 0.19%. Bitfarms is still doing really good after hours. It's up another 6.28% here. It's the best performer after hours right now, I believe. Cypher is actually down 0.28%. Cleanspark is flat. CORZ Scientific is down 0.32%. Hive is up 4.72%. Hut 8 is up just a little bit, 0.16%. IREN is down 0.09%. Mara is up 0.12%. Riot is down 0.38%, and TeraWolf is down 0.1%. Bitcoin here for the month of September right now is up 7.17%. Pretty good start, not too bad. Love seeing that. I'd love to see it above 10% for the month here, and I think we will get there. We got the rate cuts coming in later on this week, or next week actually. I'm guessing we're going to get 25 basis points cut there, and we'll probably get 2 more of those cuts happening here in October and in December as well. So we have that to look forward. That should be good for risk on assets, which Bitcoin is, along with the Bitcoin miners. So we should see a continuation of those things pumping potentially as well. Bitcoin ETF inflows here, if we look at that really quick as well. Today we have 377 million inflows without BlackRock even reporting. Yesterday we had a total of 552 million inflows, with BlackRock buying in 366 million. So obviously more inflows here happening in the last couple of days, which is great to see as well. All right, let's get into Bitdeer here really quick as well, and then we'll get into Q&A. So Bitdeer was the final one. We were waiting to report their August production update, and it announced it today. And here's what we have here. So just some background here, mining, rig manufacturing, R&D here. Seal Miner A1s, 4.1 exahash have been energized. Seal Miner A2s, total of 27.88 exahash in mining rigs have been manufactured. Of that, external sales was 6 exahash of those mining rigs. Self-mining, they added another 18 exahash of mining rigs have been deployed in U.S., Tidal, Norway, and Jigmeling. Bhutan, including 7.8 exahash in August here. 2.7 exahash of mining rigs are in transit to Bitdeer sites in Norway and Bhutan. And 1.1 exahash mining rigs are being prepared for shipment there. So they still have more growth happening there. The Seal Miner Area 3 in final stages of preparation for mass production, which is expected to begin in late September or early October. So that's happening right now, basically. And that's a good sign there. Those machines are going to be obviously more efficient. And Seal Miner Area 4s are on track to achieve an expected chip efficiency of approximately 5 joules per terahash. That's really, really good here. We'll see what Bitmain's answer is to that. We'll see what they come out with that. And then HPCI update here a little bit for them. Entered into advanced negotiations with a development partner regarding Clairton, Ohio site. That is one of their bigger sites, I believe it is. And then Bitdeer AI, the company's Neo Cloud business, reached $8 million AI Cloud ARR, annualized run rate revenue here. So that's good. That's growing as well. And then 8 NVL72 servers are being installed in Malaysia and are expected to start serving customers in Q4 2025. And they are investigating deployment of modular data centers at Wenatchee, Washington facility. So we'll see what comes of that there. As far as their update here for production, self-mining is at 30 exahash right now. Nice increase from the 22.3 exahash, so 7.8 exahash being installed there. Hosting is still at 13.9 exahash. Bitcoin's mined, nice improvement there. 375 Bitcoin now instead of the 282 the prior month. And Bitcoin held increased to 1,934. So overall, really good things happening for them. And then down below, you obviously have all the sites they have here listed and their plans going forward here, right? Clarington, Ohio is 570 megawatts in progress. That's being built out, right? They're expecting that to be in Q2 of 2027 there. So they are in talks on that one. What else do we have here? I think that's about it. So when we look at them here, as far as the numbers are concerned, where's Bitdeer? There they are. They currently have about 196 million shares outstanding, market cap at 3.1, almost 3.2 billion there. The performance over the last 12 weeks has not been great. This week has been obviously much better here. So we'll get this updated for you guys on Sunday's show. We'll look at that as well on the miners, how they did. But it's been kind of flat more or less, right? They're down 2.6 from 12 weeks ago, down down 1.35% from, not percent, dollars from 8 weeks ago. And then from 4 weeks ago, they're down 104. And then prior week, they were down $1.94 there, or 13.58%. Bitcoin production here has been improving as they have been installing more hash rate over time. Right? We talked about them last year that they're going to have a lot of growth happening in the second half of this year. And we are definitely seeing that here play out right now as it is. So nice improvement there. Their bottom here was 114 BTC back in March, and that has been nicely improving each month. We're seeing an increase in Bitcoin production, which is good to see. Estimated revenue annual run rate right now is 517, not including any of their, I believe it doesn't include any of the other business segments that they have there. Revenues have also increased to 43.15 million here. Bottomed out in March as well at 9.17 million there. So a nice, a 4x in revenue increase, which is great to see. Bitcoin HODL has also continued to increase for them over time here. And hash rate, we are at 30, I have 30.1 exahash, but they're, what did they state? Let's see, go back here. Did I have that correct? Well, they said 30. So we're off just a little bit, not much on that one. What else do we have here? Bitcoin sold, they only sold 108 Bitcoin there, it looks like. BTC per exahash efficiency is at 12.5, still really good there. And going down here to institutions, the latest update that we do have from them, we now have 187 institutions with 47.6 million shares being owned there. That represents 32.67% of the company. And we now have 9 strong buy ratings, 2 buy ratings. So that's a change from the 4 that we had there, but we also have 1 increase in the strong buy rating. 0 hold, 0 non-perform, 0 sells. Price targets increased to 33.60. Average went up to 21.87 and the low stayed the same at 17. As far as the miners here, how were they operating in August? I had them about 27.53 days on average overall. And the interesting part is it looks like they installed a lot of those, obviously those A2 miners, right? Those look to be about 487 terahashes per machine. That's a huge improvement there over the prior generation machines that they had based on the numbers that they were provided there. So really, really good efficiency on those things as well should be happening for them. Okay, so we have that. Based on those numbers and everything else for the month of August and the revenues times 12 months, I have them between 1974 and 2960. They're at 1615. I think they're still a little bit undervalued from where they probably should be. And you can see that also in the analyst ratings, right? The analysts are saying they should be around $33 on the high end. On the low end, about $17. So again, kind of goes inside with what I'm seeing here right now for them. Other than that, what can I say about them? They just need to continue to execute like they have been. Continue to build out their sites, continue to install more hash rate. Maybe they can get an HPCI deal as well at Clarington, Ohio. And if we look at Clarington, Ohio, I think I have this one on the map here right now. I did add in Riot as well today here, but let's see here. Clarington, Ohio, I think it is it this one here? Clarington, yep, 570 megawatts there. That's not too far from Maryland, obviously, Washington, West Virginia, although New Jersey, I'm sure there's a huge population in this area, so that's pretty close. Maybe they can get something for that, but it's not until Q2 of 2027, so we have a ways to go. Basically, what do we got? 1 year and 3 quarters, something like that, before we get to that, so that's quite a ways out still. But this definitely has potential there as well. Other than that, yeah, just continue to build out, deliver on the exahash growth, continue to improve on the ASIC machines as well. If they can get down to 5 joules per terahash per machine, that's going to be huge. There should be a huge demand for that as well. We'll see on that. And we'll see what they report for the quarterly results here, which we're already at the end of the quarter here with September being on the books already as it is. So that will be coming out probably in about a month and a half or so once the quarter does end. All right, but that's it on the Bitdeer. As always, the spreadsheets will be available to my Patreon members. Link for that is down in the description. And let's get into Q&A here. We'll call it a day. It's Friday night. I want to spend a little time with my family, maybe watch a movie or something like that. So we'll go through the questions as always. And if you could preface those with a question mark or Q, I would appreciate it. And let's get into what you guys have to say. Any comments, questions, thoughts. We will opine everything. All right, what do we got here? All right, Victor C. Question, any specific reason Hive is going up? Second, which one is more undervalued? The reason Hive is going up, I think, is just everybody's getting repriced right now based on what's happening here. Hive does have, right, low cost of electricity in the sites that they are operating at. They also have a lot of their electricity is like hydro and thermal. So it's reusable or green energy, I guess you could say. That's part of it. They also bought a data center in Ontario, I believe it, or Toronto, Canada. That was like 7 point something megawatts. So they are building that out as well. Yeah, so I think it's just those reasons. They're just getting repriced right now from being down so much. And the second one, which one is more undervalued? Which one is more undervalued? Do you mean like Bitfarms or Hive? With Bitfarms having operations in the United States, I think Bitfarms might have more room to run, only because of that. All right, SKS. Question, is there a rotation from IREN into Hive, Bitdeer, and Bitfarms? Not really, because we're not seeing IREN really go down a lot. So I don't think that's part of the case. I think that's people just buying, a basket of these guys here that have potential, and that's kind of what we're seeing. All right, SK, how much gigawatts capacity Bitfarms has currently and in pipeline? Seems gigawatt capacity is the main criteria for stock price to go up. They do have a couple sites, obviously, in Pennsylvania already. Let's pull them up really quick here. I know that they are looking to add more megawatts to those. I don't have that information right now. I am looking to pull that information in for all these guys here. We'll do probably a table on all that. But right now I'm just trying to find all the sites here. So if we look at this, you can see that Bitfarms has, let's see, let's go up to Bitfarms. There they are. They got this site here, which is Sharon, right? It's 120 megawatts. They got the site over here as well, Scrubgrass, which is 62.5. And then they got this one here in Panther Creek, which is 80 megawatts. But I believe, I don't know if it's all three of them. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe they might have a pipeline of 1 gigawatt here in Pennsylvania overall, which would definitely put them in a nice spot here with being close to New York, right? New Jersey, Philadelphia, this big hub here basically of a lot of people, large population area, right? You got about 30 million people around this area right here. So that's why it's getting repriced right now, I think, on that one. Okay, let's go back here. Talked about that one already. Let's see. JR says, I'm still negative on Bitfarms. No amount of DCAing helping your boy out. Do you think there's too many people sitting in that $2 to $2.20 range? And that natural resistance, my worst position apart from Mawson. Okay. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people around that price range. Remember last year when Riot offered, what was it, like $2 something a share? I think everybody got in at that point. Not everybody. Some people got in at that price range. So there might be some resistance. People might be selling out, but if they do sell out, I think it's a big mistake. I think there's more room for this stock to go up. And we're obviously seeing it still go up in the after hours here. It's at $2 and after hours, where is it at? $2.37 already. So it's gone above that. Partially here, we'll see what it does next week here, but I think there's more room to run for that one because of the sites that they do have, which obviously are getting repriced. Dad's Market Stat says, good evening, everyone. I jumped up to number 2 in my Madness. Awesome. That's way to go. That's awesome. Let's see. Roger says, BMR is cooking today. Yeah, they had a nice day today. They need a lot more of those days, though. Dead Market Stat says, I sold a couple of $2 puts on Bitfarms expiring 10/17. I doubt very much I will own the shares, okay? Your thoughts on the trader or Cleanspark ETF, the 2X, I think. It might not be a bad way to play it, right? If you think Cleanspark's still going to go up at least to 2X, you could probably make, 4X on it at that point if you get into it. On that one, I don't do the 2X leverage things. I just get into the stock there. That's kind of how I would do it. SK's got a question here. How high Bitdeer can go? I don't know. That's a good question. How high? Well, we know they're trying to get to like 40 some exahash here later on this year. I mean, they're close to that already. They're already at 30 exahash, so they're close. What are the plans going to be for next year as far as growth? And, it's not sure. I mean, it should go up. I don't know exactly how high it's going to go up. I think it should be somewhere between like the $19 and $30 range, somewhere around there. So it still has room to run there. Okay. John Kurt's question. Hey, Big Money, if I was you, I'd be moonwalking down the street. Congrats. Bought 150 shares of BMNR at 42. Rocketed today. Awesome. That's great to see. Let's see. Dad's Market Stats. I flipped 1 share of Gemini today for a 34% profit. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, that one went public today as well. Definitely had a nice bump there. Gary, do you think Ernest Hamilton is being paid by Cleanspark to replace Rex Finance as their paid shill I'm having trouble believing anyone could be so stupid and biased without a paid agenda. Okay. Ernest is a good guy, right? He's obviously bullish on Cleanspark as well, but I don't think he's getting paid. I've never asked him if he is getting paid, but I don't think he is. There's a lot of people that believe in Cleanspark. I'm one of them as well, but I look at things. I wouldn't say how do I look with an objective lens, right? I'll praise them when they're doing great. I'll also bash them when they're not doing great. But I do that with every company here. I'm an equal opportunity basher and praiser as it is. So I don't think so. But yeah, sometimes you need to kind of step back a little bit. That's why I don't post a lot on X, because a lot of this stuff is just, a lot of petty comments and things like that. It's like, what value does it really add? Not much. So, but yeah, I like Ernest, right? But I don't think he's getting paid. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's getting paid. I never asked him. All right. JR, do you ever get worried that we're pumping on pure speculation, like there's no guarantee any of these guys get a deal, and BTC hasn't been on track for close to 150,000? It's euphoria now, but right, these guys are getting repriced because we're seeing obviously the deals happening with Oracle, with TeraWolf, with Applied Digital, with Galaxy as well, with CORZ Scientific. So the deals are being made there, right? And everybody's talking about how there's a lack of megawatts available to build out. And a lot of these miners do have the megawatts available there. So I think that's the reason why we're getting repriced here. I don't know if we're at the euphoria stage yet. I mean, it's great to see that they are running nicely, but they're just kind of getting back up to where they probably should be valued on the infrastructure and the sites that they do own, right? So I think there's a lot more room to run here with these guys. Whoever gets the next deal, whether it's IREN, whether it's Cypher or Bitfarms or Riot, whoever, they'll also reprice the miners at that point again because there's going to be less megawatts that's going to be available. So supply and demand on megawatts is pumping this thing up a little bit here. Pete LG, question. Hi, Seb. How much MicroStrategy do you hold, if any, and what's your midterm prognosis? I don't hold any SDR. Last year performance seems to be crapoli despite routine pump out there, speaking a bunch of mumbo jumbo, but no results. Yeah, I mean, MicroStrategy kind of rocketed to $540 last year, November, right? And at that point, I did say that it was overvalued. It was just looking at the numbers and everything else of what they had. The multiple on the MF was way too large. I said it's going to come down, and sure enough, it did come down. The reason I'm not in MicroStrategy is, why would I buy MicroStrategy with a multiple MNAV or something like that when I can buy Bitcoin directly at a much lower cost, or I can get into the miners that mine it at a much lower cost? But that's just been my stance. I think Saylor has done a great job pumping the stock there and putting out a different narrative compared to the miners and things like that, and the flywheel and everything else that he's doing on it. But I don't know if it's any better. Right? You're always going to get dilution. You got convertible debts, convertible notes that turn into debts, obviously. And then he's doing different stocks as well, right? He's got like STRC or something like that. He's got some other ones that have dividends as well. So I think that kind of also diluted the share there a little bit of just regular MSTR from that point. So I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go later on. It should go up with Bitcoin going up here, but will it still catch that premium like it did last year? I don't know. Okay. All right, JR, continued. I remain very bullish, but I get anxious on unearned spec pumps. Well, it's also that they've been beaten down so much that a lot of these guys are getting repriced here. So I don't know if it's unearned. I think it's just a repricing of where they should be on this stuff. And then they get deals, it's going to go up even higher from there. Your mom's the other guy. Question, thoughts on the Traded Cleanspark ETF? Give me my thoughts on that, on the 2X ETF. You can get into it if you want. I'm not doing it. Does market stats here say, Seb, instead of waiting for a pullback, why not sell Bitfarms puts at the 250 or 2 strike price? You could do that. I don't do that. I just own shares, right? I'm happy doing that. I'm patient. I'm willing to wait. Victor C, which miner has the most upside from the current prices? Choose one. Thanks. Okay. I mean, that's not easy. Obviously, all these guys have had a nice run up here. Let me see if I got a table or chart I can look at to help me out here recently here. Maybe if I can look at the enterprise metrics on some of these guys here, maybe that will help a little bit to see where we are right now. Enterprise value, BTC. I need to get that updated. I think we still have, obviously, right now, I would say it is, I don't have Bitfarms in here listed, but if we look at this chart right now, at least, we can still see that Hive is still relatively low per exahash price, along with Cleanspark there. I would put my money on one of those two guys here, potentially, especially if Cleanspark gets into HPCI, that thing could possibly rocket. Bitfarms obviously has had a nice run up here recently. I think it's still going to continue a little bit more for them. But after that, I would look at, like I said, Hive, Cleanspark potentially as well. Those were the ones that are still getting kind of low valued in their current hash rate, infrastructure, and all that stuff. Okay. As always, not financial advice. Let's go back here to Q&A. Okay, not Pedro Pascal. Hey, Seb, Bitdeer does everything in-house, apparently. Could you see this as a trend for businesses to adapt in the future? Thanks. It might be. I mean, we're seeing, obviously, more competition in the space for ASICs. You got Bitdeer now, you got Canon, you got, who else is in there? What's Miner, I think? BT, right? And you also have, the one, Aurodyne. Aurodyne is doing it for Mara. And you got Bitmain, right? So you're seeing more competition there happening in the space. And it might play out that way. That might be the way to go. But you're also obviously having to deal with R&D costs. All that stuff goes into it. And then, I mean, they're not making huge profits on those machines right now as it is, that they're the ones that they're selling, at least per last quarter. Maybe this quarter will improve. So we'll see. All right. John Kurtz says, be careful next week as this recent huge stock rally has been in anticipation of the rate cuts on Wednesday. It will be a sell the news event. Yeah, it might happen. We might have a pullback. But then we're going to be anticipating the next rate cuts, which are going to be happening in October. All right. Let's see. Surendra asks why Ethereum holding companies have not gone up even after Ethereum hovering around above $4,700 here. Excuse me. They had a nice pump when they first announced, right? We saw that with a lot of these guys here. So if we look at the charts here on them at that point, let's see. Let's go down here. Okay, BMR, check this one out, right? It's had a huge pump here on the 1 week. That 1 week when it announced, it was up basically 3,065%, which is just insane, right? And after that, it obviously came back down to reality, going down. Sorry, I got to take a sip of water. Going down 70% from the prior week. So we saw that on that one. BitDigital, same thing for the most part, right? Had a nice pump here in a couple weeks after they announced their treasury transition into Ethereum. And it's also come back down here. I think the MNEVs were a little high here. We saw that with BTCS, same thing, right? Nice 2 weeks of gains here. Was up 80% 1 week. It was up another 45%. And then it came crashing down here, kind of averaged out a little bit more or less. So I think that's the reason why. The initial hype pumped these things up quite nicely here. Game was up 101%, probably 200% at one point. When it first announced, SBET, same thing. Had a huge pump over 1,000% in a week, right? That's just nuts there. And then things kind of came back down here. It was just a lot of hype on that. Unfortunately, maybe a little bit of a pump and dump happening on these guys here as well, right? Influencers were pumping it up because of the Ethereum promise and everything else. I got into Game at one point just to see what goes on with it. I was up, I think I ended out the day with like 5%. At one point I was up like 30-40%, and then by the end of the day I was up only 5%. I said, yeah, these things are all coming back down. So I sold it at that point and I'm out. I'm done. I'm not playing around with these things. So if you bought in at much higher prices, you're definitely going to be kicking yourself in the rear end right now because you're not doing great, especially if you bought in on one of those first weeks when they first came out, like BMR going up to, excuse me, going up to $161, right? If you bought in around there, I think it's going to go up even higher, and now we're at $55. I mean, yeah, that's not great. So be careful what you get into, right? If you get into something like that, hopefully you get in something in early on where you still had those huge gains and you were able to take some good profits. But that's the reason why. I think it's just a lot of these guys got overpriced, overhyped really quickly, where the fundamentals did not match up with reality, basically, on those, okay? All right, talked about that one. Let's see. Aaron says, it's about time we got a pump. We all deserve it for our conviction. Yep. Sadie, thanks for coming in and for the likes. Neville, someone had a thought that maybe someone is trying to buy up all the Bitfarms without having to undergo making a deal. I know this is unlikely, but it's giving me PTSD. Please tell me it's nonsense. Yeah, if somebody's trying to buy them up, they would have to report after they've reached above 5%, I believe it is, in the shares there. So I don't think that's happening there. I think it's just, one, it could be Riot is out completely of selling the shares there, so there's less sell pressure on the stock, which is obviously having a nice effect of the stock going up here. The comments that Ben had at the conference also, which was at HC Wainwright conference, I believe it was, those statements and comments in his overall presentation, I think, is also helping out tremendously. And then the deals that we saw here with HPCI or AI deals from Oracle and others as well are helping to get some of these sites repriced right now. Let's see, Christian says Cleanspark went from first to definitely not first. As far as gains here, yeah, it's definitely been a laggard here. I still have faith in that one, and I'm still holding on to it. GR says, thanks always a scholar and a gentleman. Enjoy the weekend. Appreciate the insights as always. Thank you so much, and appreciate the kind remarks there. Let's see, Neville, I saw some of Ben's presentations at HC Wainwright. It looks like he's very optimistic that a deal with the enterprise will happen this year. Enterprise was one thing, right? You can get an enterprise customer probably easier than you can get a deal with a hyperscaler. So that would be good there, yeah. All right, Guy, if BTC is still around 120,000-ish in March 2026, will you sell Cleanspark or will you wait? I will probably wait, right? If we were having an extended cycle, and by that, it's going to be definitely an extended cycle with Bitcoin being still 120,000 in March, so basically 6 months, 7 months out, whatever it is, then yeah, I'm still going to wait. I have time. I got patience, right? And them trying to get into HPCI, I think that's going to be a good catalyst for the stock to go as well. Guy also asked, do you think Cleanspark can hit $22 a year only as BTC miner if BTC tops at 150,000? If Bitcoin tops 150,000, I think it still can get there on, the HPCI potential, if there is potential there. All right. Gary says, IREN has a 9 billion market cap, and Nibius has 23 billion, and CoreWeave is 53 billion. IREN is the only one profitable and owns 3 to 9 gigawatt pipeline, CoreWeave data centers, and have had 5 fires in the last year. Yeah, they do have huge potential there. Let's see. Christian asked, did you see the post today about Cleanspark's executive pay? Yeah, that they are getting, the CEO is now getting 1.2 something Bitcoin per month there, right? Regardless of where the price of Bitcoin is or their production is. Yeah, I'd like to see that be more tied to their production. So, right, if it's 0.002% of their production, if he gets that, so if they generate more Bitcoin, he gets more of it. If they generate less, he gets less as well. So it's tied evenly, because as Bitcoin network hash rate goes up and they don't install more hash rate, their production is going to be coming down here, but he's still getting the same amount, right? That doesn't seem fair to me. So I think it should be tied to something like that. I'm not a big proponent of that just being 1.2 regardless for life, basically. So I would agree with who was that posted it? Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but I follow him all the time, and he does some good stuff there. Not Pedro Pascal. How can these stocks crash if there are rate cuts? They supply the pipelines. Just sell the news, basically. It happens, right? It might go down for a couple of days, and then we're going to go back up. Profit taking as well. If you're up nicely like these guys are, right, this past week, even the past couple of weeks, there might be some profit taking here. Let's see, dead market stats. Bitfarms is now running on speculation. They have insider buying and analyst upgrades on target price. It was always a strong buy. My average cost on 3,300 shares is $1.17. That's a nice price there. That's awesome. Yeah, and I agree with you there. Victor C, initial hype followed by fundamentals for Bitmine. Yep. Let's see. Have you bought Hive yet? I have not. No. Gary, perhaps Riot decided to rebuy their 20% share in Bitfarms after Ben's presentation this week. They would have to report it. I don't think that's going to be the case there. I think they're out. They should have just held on to it. They would have been doing a heck of a lot better now instead of losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, I don't know if it was hundreds of millions, probably tens of millions of dollars. that they lost on this selling when the stock was down much lower. Let's see, Victor, can Cypher hit $20 this cycle without an AI deal? That's a tough one. I mean, they're not too far off from it right now as it is. Where's Cypher as it is right now? I get too many numbers. $10, 2x from here. Bitcoin would have to go up, obviously, I think, to like 200,000 at that point. It could possibly get there without an AI deal if we do that. That would be like the bare minimum case that I think it would do at that point, right? So we'll see. SH, we should get between 4 to 6 interest cuts between now and third quarter 2026, and that should be very positive for BTC price. Yeah, I agree. That's risk on assets in general, right? Gary says, I'm 98% IREN, 2% Cypher. Okay, you're doing very well. That's awesome to see. I'm happy for you. Hopefully you have a nice low price on it and you're up 300, 400, 500%, whatever it is. So congrats there. I'm up on IREN right now, over 300%. That is my top performer right now as it is as well. And I'm very, very happy with it. Hopefully you guys are too. But that is it. I've caught up to all your guys' questions here. Looks like, oh no, I got a couple more coming in here really quick. Let's see here. SH says, Bitfarms traded around 440 million shares in 5 days. I think there's something cooking in Bitfarms' kitchen. That's not speculation moving. Speculation move. There's something behind the move. I think it's partially repricing, right? People are looking at what these companies have as far as sites and things like that, and they're getting repriced. Roger, I'm up 270% on IREN. Feels good. Yeah, it does feel good. Roger says down at 30% on Cleanspark. Feels bad. Patience on that one. I think you'll do pretty good on that one as well. But a little patience there. All right, we'll call it a day. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy it, right? Get outside, touch the grass, spend time with your loved ones, as always. And I'll see you guys back on Sunday. Love you all. I'll see you then.